Hey y'all! Today I don't have too much time, so I'll just tell you about my trip while I'm doing this. So on Friday I drove down after work, so I couldn't leave till about 6:30. So it was already dark by the time I was halfway there, which was a little rough. My car's lights are pretty dim, so I couldn't see super well. And then right as I'm entering this windy part through the small mountains, it starts pouring rain. It was probably some of the worst rain I've ever driven through. And since it was dark, I just really could not see well. Everyone was probably going about 20 miles under the speed limit when they'd normally be going about 15 over. I just had to hang on to people's taillights to make sure I was following the road correctly. Thankfully, I wasn't too stressed, but wow, that was some exhausting driving. After the rain finally ended, I got gas and took a break as a reward for my time, kept on driving. The rest of the drive went smoothly, and I finally got in around 11. I got to my parents' door, and as soon as they opened the door, they were so excited. I couldn't believe how much energy they had. I was so wiped out from a long drive on top of work, and they were just bouncing around excitedly, telling me about their plans for the weekend. I think I fell asleep at the table listening to them. And the next day, we went and saw a movie, which was good, and walked around town. They just moved, so I'm not too familiar with the area. So it was cool to sort of explore it. It's super green there right now, which apparently isn't the norm, but it looked very nice. Downtown was filled with little stores and restaurants, and people were walking their dogs all around. Apparently, they're not allowed to walk dogs through the plaza in the middle of town because dogs will scare the ducks that live there, which seems like a controversial rule because I saw quite a few dogs. We walked home, and my sister joined us for dinner, and she had to go study for some test. My parents and I played cards for a bit, and then I went to bed. The next day, I caught up with some friends who were in town. We went hiking for a couple hours and talked about our lives, which was wonderful because I hadn't seen them in about a year. Hopefully they'll be able to come back and see me soon, but it is a bit of a drive. We got lunch afterwards and said goodbye, and then I really needed a nap. And then when we woke up, I rushed out into the car to go to my grandparents' house. I had to check all the family and friends' socialization boxes. It was a really good end to the visit, and then that night I drove back home. This time there was no rain, and thankfully it was smooth sailing all the way back. Overall, pretty solid trip.